Joe Jordan gently ran a finger along his front teeth and explained how the Originals had been kicked clean out during his first appearance in a Leeds shirt. "I was playing for the reserves and diving for a header at goal," said Jordan. "The boys caught me, a complete accident, and taken two of them out, roots and all. They weren't smashed up. I got them. I kept them for a while. I went to the dentist, but they couldn't do anything. I lost two more when I headed somebody by accident. It never bothered me. You get used to it. I should have had them replaced when I stopped playing but never did." Jordan would have made a fortune from image rights had there been such a thing in the days he tormented goalkeepers and central defenders with his aggression and fearless nature. The missing teeth added a layer of intimidation and earned him a role in an amusing Heineken ad campaign for the 1978 World Cup. He still has the original artwork used in the poster, where a glass of lager refreshes the parts other beers cannot reach, and a sparkling new smile appears. Milan were in strife when they called in 1981. Newly promoted to Serie A after relegation enforced by a betting scandal, and far from the all-conquering force they once were. They were relegated in Jordan's first season and went back up in his second, although his place in the hearts of the Rossoneri was safe from the moment he scored in his first derby against Inter. "They gave you the respect, but you had to wear the jersey well," said Jordan. "I'd played for Leeds and Man United, but when you're the only foreign player for AC Milan, one of the best clubs in the world, there is pressure and expectation, and not just about the results. It was hard, but it was the best move of my career. It opened up a lot for me. A lot of players come here, and British players don't go there. For me, I would go. Even for a centre forward accustomed to European and international football, the close attention of Italian defenders was a test of patience. In those days they were the best," said Jordan, reeling off a list of names including Gaetano Ciria, Sergio Brio and Fulvio Collavati. "They had pride in stopping you, not letting you turn or get shots off, making tackles and blocks, and not letting you reach a header. I'm not sure it's as clinical now. You can play a lot more, and you get free kicks and freedom if your position and body shape is right and the ball into you is good. Inside the box they can't go near you. If you've got awareness, you have the laws of the game on your side. If you get it right, you're in control, defenders can't get the ball." Milan took an instant hold of Jordan and has refused to let go, even 30 years after the family had returned to England. Jordan said, "I went out there to sign, and we're going back to the airport in two cars with the chairman Felice Colombo when he told the driver to stop in a street called Via Monte Napoleon. It's the top street in Milan, with Versace and Armani, and he got out and bought something for all my kids. For my mother he bought a silk scarf which my daughter still has, he bought something for my wife, and a watch for my lawyer who helped me through the deal. Nothing for me, but he bought something for everybody else. He was a classy guy." One of Jordan's two daughters lives in Milan, and Roberto Antonelli, a former teammate and father of Milan's Luca Antonelli, is godfather to one of his two sons. With his wife Judith, he visits friends in the village of Burago, 12 miles northeast of Milan where they lived, and seldom without taking in a game at the San Siro. He follows Serie A and, since leaving his role as a coach at Middlesbrough last year, the 66-year-old has been brushing up on his Italian grammar. "The place had history," said Jordan. "Look at the stadium, a fantastic stadium, a proper football stadium. Old it may be, and it's not got the corporate edge, but to pull on a red and black shirt and walk out there, you would look around and think, this is it. At the Milanello training ground there were 3 or 4 pitches, all exceptional. They didn't have the Milan lab, but we had a ward with beds, more than just a treatment room. In pre-season, we'd go away for 2 or 3 weeks up in the mountains, which I'd never done. We trained hard, ate, slept, and that was it. During the season, twice a week at least, we'd have double sessions. We'd eat lunch together, and the captain would stand to address the coach to ask if the players could be excused to go to their rooms. Every day before training you would sit and have a coffee with the press if they wanted to talk to you. It was intense, but I was 29, experienced and still fit. It was a good age to go. Everything was new, but I went with the flow. I tried to learn the language, and the players tried to speak English. The youth team coach was Fabio Capello, and he always tried to speak a little bit of English. He was all right, Capello. Jordan's professional standards and competitive edge were forged at Leeds under Don Revie, who signed him at the age of 18 from Morton for £15,000 in 1970, having seen him play once as a centre-half marking Jeff Assel in an Anglo-Scottish Cup tie against West Bromwich Albion. "A wise and canny man," said Jordan, recalling the Revie effect in an FA Cup semi-final against Wolves at Main Road. Don played for Manchester City and knew the groundsman, so when we played City a week or so before the semi-final he handed over a bag of Thompson T match balls which we used at Leeds. He told him to put them in the referee's room on the day of the semi-final because he wanted to play with them. So we played with our own footballs in the semi-final, and Billy got the goal and we won. I came on for Big Jack, and that was me getting to my first FA Cup final. We picked up bottles of champagne and went straight to the hospital in Leeds to have a glass with Terry Cooper, who had broken his leg. That was Don. He didn't forget anybody and the players loved him. After losing to Sunderland in the FA Cup final, Leeds were beaten by Milan in the European Cup Winners' Cup final in Thessaloniki. The game is drenched in conspiracy theories, as Leeds games from this era often are, and infamous for the performance of Greek referee Christos Mitchas, later found guilty of match fixing, although not in this game. Sid Owen, the Leeds coach, ordered players not to swap shirts, but Gordon McQueen somehow managed it and years later passed the Milan shirt he acquired onto his friend after he moved to Italy. "I don't have many jerseys, but I've got that one," said Jordan. "I've got my title medal and my caps." Scotland gave you a cap for every year, not for every game. "I've got 10 caps, and the last one went missing. I'd played in the World Cup in Spain and waited 3 or 4 months, and it didn't come, so I phoned the SFA. The guy says, 'Oh, we sent it. It's gone.' I said, 'Well, I haven't received it.' So he goes, 'Yeah, we sent it to Inter.' Inter? No, not Inter. They had it on the wall at Inter. I had to go and get it." Jordan did mention the Cup Winners' Cup final to his teammates at Milan. "I just got a shrug," he said. "How Leeds never won I'll never know. The referee was horrendous. The Bayern Munich one was worse. That was a disgrace. This was the European Cup final in 1975, when Peter Lorimer's goal was ruled out for offside and Leeds were denied a penalty when Franz Beckenbauer fouled Alan Clark before losing 2-0. It was the culmination of a stormy 12 months, with Revie's departure, Brian Clough's 44 days in charge and Jimmy Armfield's arrival, and marked the end of the great Leeds era. Days later, Leeds were relaxing on a post-season break in Spain when the waiter informed Jordan the manager of Bayern Munich was on the phone for him. Jordan scanned the pool area, noted the absence of Billy Bremer and Johnny Giles, and decided it was a wind-up, so he sent Gordon McQueen to the bar instead. McQueen, pretending to be Jordan, told Detmer Kramer he was interested in the move, but only if they signed Gordon McQueen as well. Kramer explained he had Beckenbauer and Kat Schwarzenbeck at the back, and so McQueen returned to his son to admit he had no idea who the caller was, but his German accent was real good. The seed was sown. I'm thinking, Christ, maybe it's him, said Jordan. The day we were leaving, I got a call at 5 in the morning, and it was Kramer again wanting to know if I'd thought any more about it. I wanted to go. I really liked the idea of playing abroad. When we got back to Leeds, I told the manager. Bayern put in a record bid. Leeds wouldn't let me go, and that was that. 12 months on and Jordan joined the Scotland squad at Hampden Park to watch Bayern complete a hat-trick of European titles with a 1-0 win against St Etienne. The missed opportunity ate away, but he got there in the end. He rejected Ajax to join Manchester United in 1978 and swapped Old Trafford for Milan 3 years later. Since he quit as a draftsman to go full-time at Morton, there has rarely been a backward step, as Gattuso found in 2011. Gattuso, who is now Milan boss preparing to face Arsenal tonight in the Europa League, was then a midfield enforcer when he became engaged in a touchline row with Jordan during a Champions League tie against Tottenham. They traded insults and Gattuso tried to butt him. Jordan, then aged 59 and wearing spectacles, did not flinch. He definitely lost it, said Jordan. I just happened to be there. Whether he knew me or not, I don't know. I don't think it would have mattered to him. He'd lost it during the game, got booked and couldn't play at White Hart Lane. And then he lost it in my area. He was the captain, and you've got to be disciplined. I've lost it a few times. An OT, that many. I very rarely got sent off. I wasn't going to move, put it that way.